Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fire Emblem, the Sacred Stones. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and today we're going to be taking on Chapter 2, The Protected. Let's go. When last we played, we had successfully staged a fighting retreat across the border between Frelia and Renais, with Grado forces in hot pursuit. We met up with some allies, namely Gilliam, the knight, and Franz, the cavalier, who was a squire of our own nation, and retreated back with Tana, princess of Frelia, to the Frelian capital. There we met King Hayden, and he pledged us some money and potentially some troops, so that way we could, hopefully, take back our kingdom. Now, as this is the first chance that we've had to visit the world map, there are a couple of things that we're going to do here. First of all, we're going to take a look at our units, since we can actually examine them properly without being in the heat of battle. Now, as previously mentioned, Seth here is far and away our strongest character at the moment, and if we choose to use him, will continue to be one of our strongest units throughout the entire game. He has a number of different advantages due to his class. He also has a very good range of base stats. As you can see here, all in the low teens, which at this point in the game is very strong. We can compare really quickly to, say, Eirika, who's not nearly as impressive. But Seth. Seth is currently a level 1 paladin, which is a mounted knight with superior abilities. They can equip swords and lances. He's got 30 HP, a good array of stats all around, and a steel sword, a silver lance, and a vulnerary, which are all good weapons and or items. He cannot promote. Seth is what we refer to as a pre-promote, meaning he joins your party already having promoted. And generally that's considered to be a little bit of a negative, because units that you train up from base classes at low levels especially are much more likely to become strong, or at least stronger than the pre-promotes that you can use. There are exceptions, and in this game, Seth is one of them. Beyond that, there isn't a whole lot to say. We'll be able to let his actions speak for themselves. The one thing we do want to make note of, though, is we don't want to give him kills if we can avoid it. Because he is a pre-promoted unit and we're fighting base level units, or base class units, he'll get very minimal experience from fighting or killing enemies. So really all we want him to do is to soften up enemy units so it's easier for frail characters who can grow strong, like Eirika, to finish them off and get the experience. So, that is Seth. Then, of course, we have the Crown Princess of Renais, Eirika herself. She is our Lord for this game, which, if you are unaware, the Lord is typically either considered to be the quote-unquote player character or the main character of the story. They are usually one of the only characters who will give you an instant game over if you kill them or let them get killed. And you might think, well, they must be pretty strong then, so that they can defend themselves. Not quite. The power level of lords across the history of Fire Emblem varies wildly. And in Sacred Stones, Eirika has the potential to be really strong, but she also has the potential to be really terrible because, as we can see here, her strength is a measly 5, despite already having gained 3 levels. That's heinously bad. If she doesn't continue to get strength level ups, she'll become nigh unusable by the end of the game. So, we need to just hope and pray that she gets some levels in strength early, and then potentially, if we need to, we can put some items into her that will increase her strength as well. Now, as a lord, Eirika is what we would call an infantry class unit, or, well, just an infantry class. Basically, they fight on foot. They do not have a mount, either flying or terrain-based. And that generally isn't the best, because their move range is lower, they're less versatile in what they can do. However, they do get the added bonus of more easily moving through rough terrain, which is something to consider. And they also aren't vulnerable to weapons such as, for example, the rapier, which, even though it says is effective against infantry, is actually effective against cavalry and heavily armored units. So, she does have those advantages going for her. Speaking of advantages, Eirika is fast and she is accurate, which at the early points of the game are really important things to be, and throughout the later parts of the game as well. But early on, your raw stats, more so than the items that you have, will really dictate your ability to successfully engage in combat. So being fast, being accurate, definitely advantages that Eirika has going for her. And the easiest way to describe her playstyle would be to compare her to a Myrmidon or a Swordmaster, which, for those of you who haven't seen the game before, will mean little to nothing to you. So basically, Myrmidons and Swordmasters can exclusively use swords. They're extremely fast, they have very high critical hit ratios, and as such they're able to blow up units with alarming regularity. So, that is Eirika for now. Then we have Franz, who is our good boy squire who joined us in the last mission. He is an apprentice of Seth, and was sent by Seth to warn the Frelians during the Grado attack. Now, there's a lot of mixed feelings about Franz. My personal feeling is that he's quite the good unit. He's the first Cavalier that you get, which is a big deal. And he's got a decent stat spread all around, considering he's only level 2. The two classes he can promote into are Paladin and Great Knight. And generally speaking, I feel like Paladin is a better fit for him, because while strong, his defense and HP growths aren't as good as some of the other units that you can turn into Great Knights, and Great Knights are built for tanking more than anything else, so he'll probably become a Paladin. As a Cavalier, he has the same proficiencies that Seth does in swords and lances, much lower ranks in them because he's not a ranking general, and he has an Iron Lance, an Iron Sword, and some vulneraries. If we're able to, I definitely want to have Franz on the team, but it all comes down to how he gets his levels in these next few chapters, so we'll see. Then we have Gilliam, who just, I think, has one of my favorite character designs in any Fire Emblem game, honestly. He just looks so hawkish, and it's awesome. I mentioned previously that Knights are very good tanks. They are very slow-moving. They're only able to move 4 spaces a turn, and they're rarely, if ever, going to double anything, and possibly get doubled back. However, they tend to have high strength, high HP, and high defense, which makes them really good for tanking in a hallway, blocking off a choke point, or even just drawing the ire of a few enemies, so that way you can attack them with your more delicate units in the next turn. As far as Armor Knights go, Gilliam is not the best, unfortunately. He tends to be far too slow, and in my experience, doesn't get the defense growths that he needs to really remain a viable tank. But who knows? Maybe that could change in this run. We shall see. I do like him a lot, so we will try to use him if we're able to. Something else to consider with Knights is they are only proficient in lances, which lances are kind of the most versatile class of weapon, I would say, but it still hurts to be limited to one weapon type when an enemy comes around that has the advantage on you. So, however, once he becomes a general, if we make him a general, he'll gain access to axes and swords, which will be huge. Then we have Vanessa. Vanessa is one of the recruits who joined us at the end of the last chapter. She is a member of the reinforcements given to us by King Hayden, and she's our first example of a Pegasus Knight. And much like Franz, she can be really strong, but you need very specific level ups with her. Much like Eirika, you need her to get strength desperately. HP and defense are both also really important, since she will be fighting face-to-face with enemies, but you need to get that strength up. That said, she does have a lot of utility as a unit. She is our first flying unit, as mentioned, which means she doesn't have to worry about terrain, things like mountains, things that would otherwise get in the way if we need to go attack something or back somebody up, which is, as I'm sure you can imagine, of a huge help. And much like Knights, they are limited to lances before they promote. So, not the end of the world, but because Vanessa has fairly low strength and constitution, some of the lances can be too heavy for her to use effectively, so we do have to watch out for that. And in that vein, she has a Slim Lance, which is a very light lance, which does fairly low damage but has a decent chance to crit, and a Javelin, which is a throwing lance that she can use to attack from range with. So, finally, last but not least, we have Molder the Boulder, our first priest. Molder has some fairly mimetic status because it doesn't look like it here, but the man has absolutely insane tank stats. Like, it's not uncommon for Molder to get attacked by some sort of a physical enemy unit and shrug it off with like 5 damage on him, which for a priest is insane. The man is an absolute bomb. He's our only healer at the moment, so we're going to be using him even if he wasn't good. But I like him. He's pretty good. Priests are only capable of using healing staves. That's fine, because that's really all we want them to be doing early on anyway. It's not until we get a priest or a cleric promoted that they'll gain access to a class that can use attack magic. So, for now, that should be all you need to know about Mulder. He's also fairly fast, which is nice, so he's not getting doubled if you have to leave him out in the open. With that out of the way, we do have 5,000 gold, but we don't really need to spend it just yet. I'm going to trade a vulnerary to Gilliam here, but beyond that, I think we're pretty well set. We will go ahead and save, since we've been doing stuff for a couple of minutes there. And now, we're going to proceed onto Chapter 2, which takes place in Ide. King Hayden apologizes for being unable to spare soldiers, even though he gave us 2. However, he does provide Eirika with a small but trusted party of vassals. Eirika is grateful for the king's aid. Chasing rumors of her brother, she sets out for Grado. The group's first stop is the remote village of Ide, which was, until very recently, a part of Renais. Here, Eirika sees the devastation of Renais, my apologies, with her own eyes. Seth has mapped out a route for us. We'll travel south of Renais and pass through Seraphiu into Grado territory.
That would seem a sensible plan. Assuming, of course, that we can avoid any run-ins with Grado soldiers.
Princess Eirika, may I have your leave to scout ahead? From the sky, I'll have a better chance of spotting any nearby troops.
We're yours to command, Your Highness. Will you give your permission?
Yes, of course. Keep an eye out for enemy bowmen, though, Vanessa. Yes, Your Highness, I shall. I shall prove myself worthy of the honor of your trust. She seems very sincere.
Sincere? Yes, quite.
So that is a little bit of a gameplay hint that they give us there, in that flyers are extremely vulnerable to bow and arrows. Like, pretty much guaranteed to get one shot by them unless your stats just ridiculously outstrip those of your enemy. So that is something to keep in mind. It's not something we have to worry about too much in this chapter, but it's still very, very, very important to remember going forward. Hey, boss! We found more villages ripe for the picking! 1, 2, 3... Oh, I love a good war. With all those soldiers preoccupied, we're free to pillage as we please. Right. Bone, you're in charge. Grab everything that's not nailed down and bring it to the hideout. I'm on it. And here we have my favorite character in the game. No, it's not the burly man on the right. No, it's the boy with the leather headband on the left. This is Ross. And he is a machine. Dad, bandits approaching!
I'm getting you out of here, Ross. You stay close to me.
Let's start with that village over there. Go to it, boys. It's all yours. Cut down anyone fool enough to get in your way. I'm heading west around the mountains to the other villages.
And here we have the perfect display of another gameplay mechanic, where in brigands specifically, potentially thieves in this one, I don't quite remember, but definitely brigands can actually go to the entrance to a village and destroy it, which is really bad because villages 9 times out of 10 will contain an extremely useful item or weapon or stack of gold. So you desperately want to get to those whenever it's physically possible, or at least kill all the bandits around it until you're able to get to it, but you know. Ugh!
Ross, what is it? What's wrong?
It's nothing. It's just a scratch. You're a warrior, Dad, and I am your son. I won't be beaten so easily.
Don't risk yourself so foolishly. We need to get you some help.
Please! Someone help my son!
Ah, this looks serious. I must report back to Princess Eirika at once. I have bad news. The village to the east is under attack by bandits. Bandits?
We have arrived at our first dilemma. We must move quickly and attract as little attention as possible. But
I cannot stand by and watch innocents be harmed. Vanessa, how fare the villages? I spotted one injured person. He appeared to be just a child. Father Mulder, can you help him?
Well, yes, I can heal his injuries with my staff, but I cannot do it from here. He's too far away. I must be near him.
Princess, leave this to me. I shall bring the boy here.
All right, Vanessa, it's up to you.
Very well. I'm off.
So, we have a few different objectives we need to keep track of in this map. First of all, we need to rescue Garcia and Ross, who are quite valuable assets to have at this point, just because they have axes, which is not something we have covered. And to do that, we need to get them out of range of all these guys. So, we're going to go ahead and grab Vanessa here, and we're going to move her next to Ross. Now you can see we have this command rescue that came up. What that does is it allows us to pick an allied unit who's in a square next to the rescuing unit, and so long as their con, as displayed here on the left, is lower than our aid, we can pick them up. And then we can carry them wherever we need, like so. Now, in the interest of recruiting Ross as quickly as possible, we're going to move Mulder down here next to Vanessa, and he can use Take, which will allow him to basically pull Ross off of the Pegasus and put him on his own shoulders. Then, in the same action, because rescue strats are just awesome this way, we can then drop him and put him right there. Now, he will be in almost perfect range to talk to Eirika next turn and recruit him. With that most crucial part of this turn out of the way, we're going to just go ahead and move all of our units up. There are a number of other brigands around that we're going to have to watch out for, keep them from destroying the villages, so we're going to roll out and do that ASAP. As you can see, Garcia can definitely hold his own. Oh, there you go, Ross. Good job, buddy. He is not the greatest axe fighter we can get, but he can certainly hold his own for at least long enough until we get Ross leveled up to take his place. And now we can have Eirika talk to Ross. Hey, listen! My village is being attacked by bandits. My name's Ross. Come on, you have to help me wipe those thugs out. Alright, just take a deep breath and calm down, Ross. Leave the villages to us. We'll drive off the bandits. Seth, take the boy somewhere safe. No! Wait! I'm going to fight too! But my father's out there all alone fighting those bandits. I've got to get back to him as quickly as possible. I'm the son of the great Garcia. As long as I have my axe, no bandit will ever defeat me. All right, I can see you're not going to be swayed, but you must promise you will stay close to us. And there we have Ross. I'll go into his specific class and stats at the beginning of the next mission, but suffice to say, Ross is what we call a trainee class. And that means that he gets way more experience than other characters do, but he's very weak to start, and generally needs to be babied a lot. However, if you're able to train him up, he becomes an absolute monstrosity, so we want to try and do that. For now, all he has is a hatchet, which is actually great because it allows him to attack from range and hopefully pick off targets that would otherwise kill him. Okay, we have a cutthroat here. So Ross will be fine to move up. Then we can bring Gilliam up. Okay. We can have Franz draw him in here, and that's probably not the worst idea. The armory will give us a little bit of cover. He can equip an iron sword. And actually, I wouldn't mind picking up a slim lance for Franz, too. A little bit lighter, make him a little bit faster, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now, can we have Vanessa? We can have Vanessa. Okay, beautiful. So now we have successfully brought Garcia over as well. We will have Seth take and drop him. And then we can have Mulder come in for a heal if anyone needs it. Doesn't appear that they do. Alright, we shall wait. Okay, because we are on hard mode, it's not as easy to double these brigands as it would be. If we were on normal, then Franz would have been able to double that guy, absolutely no issues, but so it goes. Ooh, hello everyone. And so here we see a bevy of reinforcements. Now the problem with these guys is obviously they're going to be able to hit us from the flank, but also they're standing on these peaks, which you can see in the bottom right here. It gives +2 to their defense, so it just reduces damage from physical attacks by 2, and gives them 40 of void, which is huge, monstrous even. It's too large to even be able to comprehend. It's not actually that bad, but it can be a real pain to fight through that. So we want to try and lure them out of the mountains and then fight them on the plains where they won't get any bonuses to their stats. I'd like to try and get this kill with Ross if we can. Really get the ball rolling on those levels. So I think we're going to go ahead and hit this guy with Franz. We'll soften him up a little bit, and then Ross can come in for the kill. Very nice. Level for Franz. And we got speed, which is excellent. Very good. Would have been nice to get strength or skill as well, but just getting a point in speed is already a huge boon, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. These guys can't get out of the mountains to attack us just yet, so we will have Ross attack. Very good. I love his little sprite too, it's just so clean. Hey, look at all that XP, beautiful. Ooh, and a vulnerary, nice. Now, we could move Gilliam up, but the issue with that is if we do move him up, this cutthroat will be able to stand on a tile that gives him bonuses to his avoid, which he's already getting because Gilliam has a lance. So we don't want to do that. What we do want to do, though, is have Seth come down here and potentially, with the silver sword, soften one of these guys up. There we go. Now, we do need to have Ross talk to Garcia to be able to recruit him, but we can do that next turn. I wanted to get the XP on Ross first. Keeping everyone topped up, as we should be, always. And we'll put Vanessa there. Oh, fair enough. Went for the hit on Mulder. I can appreciate that. Very well, sir. Very well. Yeah, as we can see here, Garcia having very little chance to hit the guys in the mountains, which really is not surprising. Now, can Vanessa kill this archer? She cannot. Okay. Can Franz weaken this archer? He can. Wow, okay. Extremely lucky on the AI's part, but it's not the end of the world. Now, in these games, specifically the older Fire Emblem games, archers have no capability really to counterattack when they're getting attacked in melee range. They're extremely vulnerable in that regard. And as a result, people tend to dislike them because they feel less efficient than some other classes, but I still like them. They definitely have their uses. Something else to consider as well, which is more just a general fact about this game. Ooh, we need an iron sword on her. Holy. How did I miss that? One moment. Nice. Something to consider about this game is we do not have the massive variety of customization options that we do in games like Fates or Three Houses, where pretty much anyone can become any class, or at least a large variety of classes. That doesn't fly here. That's not something that we're capable of. Characters have one base class that is just what they are, unless they're a trainee class. And they can promote into one of two things, and that's it. Which, even that is an advancement for Sacred Stones over the other Game Boy Advance games. So, unfortunately, the units that we have are the units that we have, and if they turn out good, awesome. If they turn out bad, well, I'm sorry that your Paladin has 0 speed and a bunch of magic damage, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Makes it more interesting, too, though. So, something to keep in mind.
Ross! Boy, what did I tell you? What are you doing here? Don't worry about me. Hurry up and get yourself to safety.
Did you really think that I could just run away while you fight, Dad? You taught me that fighters fight for what's important to them. There's no way I'm leaving. I'm fighting just like you.
Ross. Alright, listen to me. We'll cut our way out of here together.
And there we go. We now have Garcia on our side, who is quite buff. He's quite good. Now, because Eirika is so accurate and has the weapon triangle advantage, she's still able to hit these guys, and they're not likely to hit her back. So we're going to go for it. Now, realistically, we shouldn't just be using the rapier willy-nilly like this. However, I forgot to get her an iron sword or a slim sword. Oh, the coveted strength up. Yes. So for now, we just have to stick with that. Very good. And then it looks like... yeah, we'll have to have Seth finish this guy off, but that's okay. Seth can get experience from time to time, that's fine. As you can see, his stats just far outstrip what anyone else can do right now, because he's a machine. Okay. Now, we do have to worry about these guys attacking Eirika. It's not the end of the world, but it's something to consider. And we also have to worry about where those guys can get to. For now, though, it's safe to move Mulder up here and heal Gilliam. Which you should always be doing. If you have the money to get more staves, and you don't have, like, an actual wound to worry about fixing at some point, but, like, there's some scrapes, throw someone with a stave or a staff at it. They need the experience gains as much as they can get, so it's always good to just be pumping heal spells or other support spells whenever possible. Eirika proving her worth here by fighting brigands in the mountains, which is not an easy feat. Okay. So we do have a few... we have a few villages that we need to get. So I think we're going to send Vanessa up here, and she'll grab these two over the course of the next couple of turns, and then we can have someone ride down and take the one in the bottom left as well. The most wonderful man rescued me. He was dressed like a mercenary, but he had an air of elegance about him. He gave me this elixir. I'm sure it will help you on the battlefield. Wonderful. Elixirs are consumables, like vulneraries, but instead of healing 10 HP as a vulnerary does, elixirs fully restore your HP. They're rare, they're valuable, they're awesome. I'm so happy to get one this early. Ross isn't quite in attacking range of anything, which sucks. We could have Seth come down and deal with the boss, just to make sure he doesn't get to that town, which he will next turn. I think that's the play. Just to be safe, because we want those items. Wait a minute! Who are you? God, it is extremely satisfying watching Seth just mulch things. Ugh, blast. And because he was a boss, Seth actually got a decent chunk of experience for that. Now, if we're lucky, this cutthroat will go after Franz, who won't kill him next turn. But I have a contingency plan in place. Because the mission will end once all enemy units are defeated, we're actually going to move out of the range of this brigand, very intentionally, so that he can't attack anyone and get killed by them. Assuming she's able to get out of range. Which, even if she's not, she's in the same range as Ross, so the brigand will go for Ross instead, and shouldn't double him. Ooh, a strong hit. Ooh, strong hits on both sides. Nice. Okay, he's going for the village up there. That's fine, because Vanessa's going to grab it. And who are you? You don't look like one of the local peasantry. As you can see, these villages have some bandit troubles. I would like to help, but I have orders to follow. I am required to quit this area at once. I would ask you to aid them in this fight. I'll pay you for your trouble, of course. And we get a red gem from a very mysteriously designed character. We'll get more into who that character is later, but for now, this red gem is very nice because it's just a gem that we sell for 2,500 gold, which is a pretty decent amount at this point in the game. Can Ross get this kill? The answer is no. That's alright. I figured he wouldn't. What we will do, though, is we'll have Franz attack here, see if he gets the kill. He will. Beautiful. And then we'll have Eirika fall back to the armory and pick up a sword, because she does need something other than her rapier. Seth will hit up the village, which I believe has a pure water in it.
What is it? What's all the ruckus? What? Bandits? Spread the word, everyone! Close the village gates! Thank you for your warning. Please, accept this small token.
Beautiful. So pure waters are, like the other potions, a consumable, 3 uses, that will temporarily boost the amount of resistance that the character who drinks it has. This can be really useful if you have a unit like, say, Garcia, who is very vulnerable to magic, but you need him to draw in or weather a few hits from a mage. You can slap a throwing axe on him, have him chug a pure water, and he'll be much, much more likely to survive the coming onslaught. And now for Eirika, we're going to pick up both a slim sword and an iron sword. Slim sword because, like her rapier, it'll be light enough for her to be not bogged down by. Iron, did I say spear? Slim sword and iron sword because, well, we just need extra power from the iron sword. And if it comes down to it, we can always just swap those weapons to someone else if need be. This is worth the risk. We can easily clean up with Eirika if we have to, and getting some more experience on Vanessa would be really good. 1, 2. Very good. Beautiful. And that is that.
You saved my son. I owe you my thanks.
It's not necessary.
Hold on a moment. Aren't you the great Garcia? You fought for Renais, didn't you?
Seth, do you know this man?
He was a troop commander for Renais until around 10 years ago. When I was a recruit, the soldiers used to tell so many tales about him. They called him a daring and fearless fighter for Renais. Master Garcia, you must know the peril our homeland faces right now. Can we impose upon you to lend your strength to Renais once again? I'm sorry. I'm retired now. I'm not a soldier anymore. It's a decision I made a long, long time ago. Master Garcia, when I was a soldier, I lived my life fighting for my country's honor. I left no time for my family. I spent my life fighting for faceless, uncaring nobles. When my wife fell ill and died, I met the child she had left behind. At that moment, I finally realized what my duty had cost me. I stood at my wife's grave and promised her I would be a father to our son. I'm done with armies. I'm done with fighting except to protect my son. I have no regrets. I'm the boy's father.
You blasted fool! Father, what's all this nonsense I'm hearing?
Ross!
If you're not going, then I will. I'm a fighter. I know I can do this.
Ross, what are you saying?
Dad, please, listen to me. I respect you more than any other man in the world. I know you gave up being a soldier for me. I know that. But how can you throw away such a big part of yourself? You're a warrior at heart. You can't give that up and be happy. Look at me, Dad. Have you seen me fight? I'm not a child anymore. I'm a warrior like you. You're free to worry, but I can survive on my own.
Ross.
You want to challenge me, Father? I'm a fighter, the best in all of Ide. I'm not going to lose to you. I'm not going to lose to anyone.
You're right. You're a good soldier, Ross. So, Seth, if these old bones of mine can still serve, I'd like to join you.
Dad.
Looks like my boy grew up while I wasn't looking. He's tougher than I thought. He doesn't need my help. I've raised him as best I could, but he's right. I've nothing to fear. I should fight. I will fight.
Dad!
Thank you so much for your help. Please, stay the night and rest.
We would if we could, but we have much to do and far to travel. Your safety is reward enough.
Ah, well. My, that is a splendid bracelet you're wearing.
Thank you. My father gave this to me.
It's a wonderful gift. But you should be careful wearing such a valuable item so openly. Since Renais was invaded, things have become so dangerous around here. There are gold-hungry thieves and bandits everywhere. The most wicked are Basba's bandits. They are cruel beyond words. If you have something they want, your life is worth less than nothing. Just the other day, they assaulted some travelers and... oh, it was awful.
I cannot believe such things.
Oh, Renais is finished, mark my words. The Great Empire has stolen our future. Our only hope against them was that Prince Ephraim would prevail, but... rumor has it that he's on the verge of being crushed by Grado's vast numbers. These dark days. Travel with care.
Ephraim.
It's time to start. Are you ready, Eirika?
Yes, Ephraim, let's begin.
Tell me, though, why do you want me to teach you to fight? I thought you didn't care for violence.
I do not like uncivilized behavior. I think one can solve one's problems without fighting. And yet...
And yet what?
I've always relied on you to protect me, brother. I would rather not be such a burden to you in the future. So I thought maybe I should learn to protect myself.
I'm your brother. Brothers are supposed to protect their sisters. Nothing for you to worry about. It's no cause for concern.
Yes, but I'm your sister. Sisters are supposed to worry about their brothers. So, I would like to learn something of swordplay. If only little. And maybe someday I can protect you in your time of need. So, please, Ephraim.
All right. How could I say no? Honestly, once you get an idea into your head, that's it. I might as well give in. It's agreed. I'll teach you, but I won't hold back because you're my sister. And I want no complaining once we've started, Eirika.
Complain? Me? Never.
Oops. Beg your pardon.
Hey!
Princess, are you all right?
Yes. Someone bumped into me is all. I was jarred.
Your Highness. Where is your bracelet?
My bracelet? It's gone. Where could it be? Did that man...
I'll find him.
Don't worry about it, Seth. That bracelet was a gift from my father, but Ephraim needs our help. I can't let sentimentality get in the way of my duty.
No, Princess. We must retrieve your bracelet regardless of cost. You cannot lose it. Let's go. We must hurry.
And that, my friends, is the end of Chapter 2 of The Protected. Thank you all so much for watching to this point in the video. I really hope that you have been enjoying this little series thus far. If you have any questions about anything with game mechanics, story, what goes on when you do X versus Y in battle, anything like that, let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. If there's anyone that you think would enjoy the series, please share it with them. I would always like to get more eyes on the channel and have more people who can join the discussion. And when we come back, we're going to see if we can't get Eirika's bracelet back. But for now, that is all the time I have. I hope you all have a good night, and remember, be good to each other. Bye-bye.